Hello, hello. Welcome to Anime Anonymous. I'm CJ.
This is Ace.
And this is Jess.
And we are joining you this week to speak on Drifting Home. This was Jess's? Yeah, your recommendation. I'm a little lost because we missed recording last week because we had some family emergencies, but all good now. But yeah, so this was Jess's recommendation. Netflix movie came out this year, September specifically. Since
September 16th.
Oh, okay. Wow. Real specific. September 16th. But yeah, we're going to dive into it. Before that, though, just get out the quick stuff. If you want to follow us and chat with us on anything, Instagram is Anime Anonymous. The Twitter is XAnimeAnonymousX.
Audius is Anime Anonymous.
And if you want to email us, xanimeanonymousx@gmail.com. But now, we can immediately jump into it. So, I'll get everybody's first thoughts on it and then do the quick synopsis. So, who wants to go first?
I can go first.
All right. Quick thoughts. What do you think?
Quick thoughts. It was interesting.
Okay.
I don't know, I will say my attention to it wasn't really, it didn't grab me. Because it mainly is about a lot of kids, and since I'm a lot older, a lot of their problems were very small world problems. So I was a little annoyed the whole time, but I think if, younger kids watched it, I think it would be better for that audience. So.
Okay, so that's your takeaway.
Yeah.
What about you, Ace?
I enjoyed it. I did have the speed increased, which I think definitely helped for the first 30 minutes for sure. It was emotional, so I enjoyed their little tug of war. They both seemed to have their reasons to believe why one was right over the other, but they pretty much wanted the same thing. Yeah, I mean, some of the other kids, didn't really need to be in the movie. They had their little one scene, okay, but yeah, they didn't seem really relevant. I think it really could have been just the main two characters. And they could have just done it with the main two characters, still the guy that was a plant person. They could have still had the plant Ferris lady in there.
I was about to say, you were jumping fully into it.
No, I'm just saying, they could have had those, scene characters and then the main two characters, and it could have been cool.
They could have just had Kosuke and Natsume. Yeah. That's her name.
Yep.
Okay. My quick take, and it'll make more sense as we get into it, is this is a combination of, if you remember that old Disney movie, Smart House? If Smart House was a horror movie, mixed with if Children of the Corn was a family movie. So if a horror movie was a Disney movie and a Disney movie was a horror movie, that's what I'm saying. And if you don't know those two movies, I'm not mad at you. But
Smart Home was a good movie.
Smart Home was funny.
Yeah,
yes.
That was
so
a good movie.
If this was a horror-ish version of Smart House, again, mixed with Children of the Corn, but not weird. Well, it was weird. But all right, so now we can jump into it after a little synopsis. So the short version, because I looked at the synopsis online, way too long.
Yeah, that is in depth.
Here is the short version. Kosuke and Natsume, right? They grew up as childhood friends, were super close, and basically their
Lived
relationship.
in the same household.
Yeah. Natsume's family split. She lived with with Kosuke's family, but their relationship strained after Kosuke's grandfather died. And then this all basically takes place in 6th grade, where they're still strained, but it's basically a story about them kind of reconciling and come to terms with different things, including the grandfather's death. And then, like Ace was saying, you have side characters, but I kind of agree. I don't think they were really needed, but yeah. So that's the synopsis. I'm gonna say off rip, this was an okay movie for me. I was not really that enthralled with it, but like it was okay. Also, the dubs and the sub completely different.
Really?
You have to watch this in subbed because the dubs make no sense in my opinion at all. Yeah, it is. There's so many scenes where like in the dubbed, the one kid, and I couldn't care less about his name. The one that is so enthralled with like ghost hunting, like, and he always calls the girl that likes Kosuke short, and she's like, "You're shorter than me." There's a scene. Excuse me?
Tashi?
Yes.
The blonde
yes. Tashi, whatever his name is. There's a scene where they're trying to go through the apartments and it's not opening. And there's a scene where he does like this really animated like shrug and he's like, dubs. It looks so awkward because there's no noise. Like his character's just posing and doesn't say anything. In subbed, he goes, and it makes so much more sense.
Oh.
So, yeah. Dubs are not the wave on this one.
And the subs don't match the dub at all. At all.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna be one of the shorter ones on this. So the individuals who did enjoy this, you guys can go.
Well, I wouldn't say like I enjoyed it. I would say like it's an okay movie, like you said. I would definitely not watch this again, even though I had to watch it like 3 times because, to be honest, I watched it. It left my memory. We took a week off. I watched it again. It left my memory. Like, that's the type of movie it is. Like, I literally had to watch it multiple times just for this recording. I will never watch it again.
Well, I'm going to be indifferent. I enjoyed it. I did watch it in an accelerated time speed. Probably I think it was like 1.5, which I think made it a lot more easier for me to get through it.
Okay.
Now the parts towards maybe the last 30, maybe last 45 minutes, when it was just a struggle, of them reconciling, them going over like, hey, I am sorry that, I didn't consider your feelings when it came to he's not your, like, why are you sad? He's not your granddad. He's my granddad. And then, like, kind of exiling her when she had her own relationship and kind of was raised by the granddad as well. Mm-hmm. It kind of was like, I guess it kind of made
Kosuke?
Questioning the main character, Kosuke, because if I had somebody that I grew up with since I was, under 10 or whatever, because they're in 6th grade or
I think they're in 6th grade in current time. Yeah.
Okay, so if I was raised with a childhood friend or whatever, raised by the same grandparents and all that, I would have definitely considered them a sibling. So I would never have said, "Why are you upset? That's not your granddad." When we grew up with the same parents and grandparents in the same house. So that part, I kind of felt where she was coming from, like, dang, that's kind of effed up that you would, like, say that to me. So that one kind of hit home for some reason. Then the struggle of her trying to protect the memory of the granddad, so that's kind of like why she stole that camera. Mm-hmm. And then his attachment to the camera because that was his granddad and that was something that they enjoyed to do together. I was like, you guys are very similar, and I guess that kind of combativeness, I don't know, it kind of just hit me. But I enjoyed it for some reason.
So I get why he said it in a weird way. Like, he was trying to tease her because she teased him to make him feel less freaked out, right, at that moment when they were in the hospital. So then he was like, see, you were freaking out, and now you're all fine. And so she teases him. So I think that was him trying to tease her. While he was like, why are you freaking out? Like, he's not even your granddad. But he said it, like, with, like, a smile. Like, he didn't mean it that way. But, yeah, he should have realized.
Yeah, that was a bad joke.
That was stupid, right? Yeah. Because, yeah, she thought of the granddad as a father figure. And different points where she says, like, he's a father figure, I thought was, like, just such weird writing. Because, like, she was like, I guess that's creepy that I would say somebody else is my father figure and I'm not related to them. I was like,
that's literally the definition of a father figure.
Yeah, like, what? Like, I thought that was, like, such a dumb thing. Like, and I knew what they were trying to do. Like, the writer's trying to make you kind of feel sorry for her in the sense that she is super down on herself. Because, like, she thinks she's the cause of all issues.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. Just the writing in this, I was just not a fan of. I think
it was the music that kind of got me to feel what they were trying to feel. But going back to what you're saying with the subtitles and the words, I don't think I paid that any mind. It was literally the music, the animation. It was like very beautifully executed, I think. And the music hit. Like, the music was on point, especially when they're, like, trying to survive and get back to the building that's floating away and the waters. One was about to take the kid's leg off. It was that black...
Oh, yeah, the bottom.
Yeah,
the
black
bottom,
bubbles.
like, bubbles, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, this got some action into it, finally.
Well, it took out Nopo's leg.
Right.
Yeah.
And then just saying, like, the water was powerful, it was disintegrating things at some points. It kind of made sense.
I will say the art in this is good. Yeah. I can't fault that. Like, the art's pretty interesting to it, but like, so like there was just a lot of set pieces that I don't think really were resolved well. They were resolved, but not well. Like, and they just popped up randomly. So, like, when they are in, I want to say it's maybe 3/4 of the movie in, like, where they're at the store. Like, they go to the store. And, like, she goes, even though she hated the store. So I'm like, okay, why go if you hated the store? And
like,
then
she blitz runs, like,
and she
sprints to the store.
Like, full bore is there, and she's like, I hated this place, like, yada yada yada. And then, like, the water spirits, like, for lack of a better word, the water spirits, like, show her crying as a child.
Yeah.
Which, like, why? And then also they almost get her killed because she's sitting there looking at them making her old scene. But yet these water spirits later in the movie are, like, helpful. So it's like, are you helpful or are you trying to kill them? Like, I don't understand, because, like, it's I don't know. They're weird. There's sometimes where the glowing blue water is helpful, but then sometimes it's not. I don't get it.
Yeah, that was weird to me.
Obviously, the dark water is really, really simple.
Right.
It's trying to eat everything. Like, that easy to understand. I told Jess this. This movie felt like, who could be worse, in my opinion. Okay. Like, who was pettier? Like there were certain times when I was like, Kosuke, you're so freaking annoying. And then he was like, I'm going to ride for my people. I'm going to go over there by myself and find the food because I don't want to make anybody else stressed.
Right.
Cool. I vibe with you on that.
Right.
And then he's a moron and cusses her out for no reason. Right? Instead of just saying what he feels. Same thing with her. She's trying to calm everybody, has a fake smile. She gets called out on it. Oh, all woe is me now. And then she goes, helps Kosuke do something. Cool. I'm vibing with you. Tries to kill herself.
Right.
You pissed me off. Like, I was just like, you're going up and down for me. Like, I can't.
Both of them were.
I can't stand it. You're pissing me off. And then the part that the two parts that really pissed me off with Natsume, were when like Nopo pushes them off and he's like, I don't want you guys to die here. Like, you guys need to go. She's all like, I don't want any more goodbyes.
Right.
And dives in and goes there. Dummy.
Right.
You just said goodbye to like 6 other people because you didn't want to say goodbye to a dead house.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
he's not even human. Like, he's a house. But you're going to kill yourself for a stupid house instead of being with your friends that you said, I'm going to go home with.
Exactly.
And then she's like, oh, it's better if I die. Which thankfully, I've never had a friend commit suicide. But I've had friends who, well, acquaintances, I should say, that like threaten that. Mm. And like suicide is one of the most selfish things in the world because they're like, oh, everything would be better without me. That is a bald-faced lie. Right. That is you making excuses to take the easy way out. Mm-hmm. Right? Suicide is a very serious thing.
Yes. Right?
But like it affects so many people when somebody does that, which you see later. Like she's like, oh, it'd be better if I killed myself, basically. That's in other words, that's what she says. And then her mom is freaking the hell out when they finally get home, right? Which also was weird to me. Not the mom freaking out. The passage of time. Because she said she's been in that world before. I want to say she said she was there for like 2 days before, and no passage of time happened.
Right.
They were obviously there for, I want to say maybe a week. I don't know. They were there for a while.
Yeah, they were there for a while.
So
I couldn't really follow the time.
Yeah, because they don't really tell you. No. Because they show every time they have a meal. But is that breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Right. Is that every day? I don't know.
It's just ramen noodles. Like.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I don't know. I'm going to say a week at least. Yeah. So, but it seemed like they were gone for a while or something because the mom's freaking out. She's like, where have you been? Yada, yada, yada. And obviously, it wasn't just a day. It wasn't the same day because the kids have been out
surviving.
No, but I mean, like in real world, they've been out there before for a whole day and nobody freaks out.
Oh yeah.
But her parents were freaking out, or her mom was freaking out. So I'm like, so at least a day has passed, like a full day and another day. So passage of time, and this was weird to me. But yeah, I don't know. Like, they both have their cool moments. Mm-hmm. Like Natsume turns into a parkour champion. Yeah. And climbs up and saves old girl. Now, granted, she probably should have not thrown her as hard because she bopped her in the head and that girl should have died. Neither here nor there.
Yeah. I was questioning that as well.
But like, yeah, I don't know. Like I couldn't stand either of them because they were both so fake. Like this reminded me of Civil War, like the Marvel Avengers movie. Okay. If they just talked, that whole movie did not exist. Just have a conversation. And it would have been over. Done. No, I want to fight and kill myself for no reason. So, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, now that you said it, it's definitely hard to follow. And I think I kind of just gave up on trying to understand, and I'm just like, let's just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, which is totally fine. Which, like, as of this podcast recording, I showed on featured animes to help out, and that's one thing I said. Like, I don't understand how somebody likes something, right? But I said, but that's the whole point of having different opinions. Like, if somebody is always agreeing with you, that's not somebody you want to be around, in my opinion, right? Like, conflict breeds intelligence. Like, you can't learn something if you think you've learned everything. Like, that doesn't make sense. So if I go into an argument and I'm like, I'm right, I feel like I'm right, but I'm not going to discount what anybody else says because, hey, I might learn something. But yeah, like, that's why I was telling you when we were first talking about this, I was like, I don't have much to say on this.
Well, I kind of agree with what Jess was saying about, like, their problems were very trivial and, like, non-existent to us because we're nowhere near their age. Yeah. But the one that I really did not enjoy at all, very annoying, was the girl Raina.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was the most annoying character. Huh?
Brat.
She was a rich brat.
She was
And
a
I
rich
was
brat.
First off, even when I was that age, the amusement parks are fun, but they're not that fun. Like that's not my whole summer. I'm
Right.
just excited to go to one amusement park with
The
a
amusement
friend.
park of Florida.
Yeah.
That's what
Oh
they-
yeah, it was in Florida.
It was-
so now that I live here, I'm like, it ain't that fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that
I
was
think
funny.
I think the story that they were trying to portray was telling kids that even though you are the popular one, your friends are only your friends because you're popular. And they were trying to show how Jury, which is the one who got yeeted and should have died.
Yeah.
Got yeeted.
That scene it just didn't make sense. But like how, she's the nerd that is her friend not because she's rich. It's because she likes Raina as a genuine human being.
Right.
So I think that's why this movie would really hit younger kids more, because it's hitting those preteen, hardships that I'm pretty sure we all probably went through in high school. At least I did.
No.
Not so much.
No.
I was trying. I'm like,
This
I'm
might
going
be
through.
this might be one of them white people things, bro. I don't know. As a person of color,
And I'm like, I was going through every middle school scenario. I'm like, nah. Nothing come to mind.
No, where is it? Couldn't be me.
Yeah. I was up there like, maybe I should do like an anime example. I'm like, I can pull those up.
So when we eventually get this as a video podcast, it was hilarious because Jess is sitting here like really feeling it, and Ace and I just look at each other
we're
like,
You got an example? Oh.
all right. Anyway, continue, babe. Go ahead.
Anywho. Oh my gosh. But I do kind of understand the whole Natsumi, kind of story. Like, her parents fought all the time, so she was in a very negative environment. But,
Wait.
why did she... I just didn't understand... I guess when you're in a negative environment, then you make an imaginary friend. And that's what Nopo was. Nopo was an imaginary friend. But I didn't understand why...
No. Nopo wasn't a imaginary friend.
Nopo
was the spirit of the house.
Yeah, he lived there and died there, and he kind of watched over both of them because they lived in the same house.
He was basically I want to say he was the spirit of the land because he was there before the building. He said I've been here before the building, and he had watched families. He said, but them two were the ones that he really wanted to watch over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, he wasn't an imaginary friend. She
At the very beginning, I thought he was an imaginary friend. Okay, Nopo.
That's fair enough.
Nopo,
yeah, no, that's fine.
She
I
was
can
just like,
understand, because
Nopo's here.
The tent was empty and stuff. Yeah.
I was like, okay, does she have an imaginary friend? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. I mean, she obviously has some trauma, so and
Yeah.
you learn more about it because her dad. We saw at least one scene where he smacked the heck out of her, and she was a baby.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's obviously got trauma there.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think it's just, it's definitely more preteens problems that they were trying to portray, but I don't think they portrayed it very well. I think it was very botchy. Like,
Yeah.
here's the problem, and then
a random solution.
and then here's the problem, and then you got all these other kids, and they were trying to bring them into it. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, no, I agree with both of you on that, right? Like, it was, the flow of the story wasn't really good. Mm-hmm. And then to Ace's point, which he said earlier, those other characters weren't needed. No. And I know what they were trying to do with Reina.
Raina made me just like Jury more. That's the only thing Like, because Jory was able to stand up.
Raina made you like Jory more? Is that what you said?
Because then Jory was able to stand up for herself, and I enjoyed that part.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna be real. It was a long day, so my brain didn't process what you said at first. At first, I thought you said Raina made you not like Jury, and I was like, "There's no way he just said that." Let me ask.
Yeah, Raina made me enjoy Jury more.
Yeah,
because she was able to stand up for herself. Did not like that she was knocked out for so long
with a puddle of blood.
Yeah,
she was dead. And I don't care what anybody says.
Why did you come back?
Yeah,
like it was.
And she just randomly shows up. She walks upstairs and everything.
Yeah, she's like, I climbed up myself.
Full function, like body, no pain, no more blood.
Maybe it was the water spirits, that came.
Whatever.
I ain't like it.
Work their voodoo magic.
I think it would have been more emotional and more impactful if she actually died, or at least maybe she was in a coma or something. Maybe not have to die, but it would have been way more impactful if the character actually
something. Like, I mean,
gave some suspense.
So going back on Raina, I have met somebody. I actually went to school with somebody similar to her in college, and Jess knows this person. I know what they were trying to do with her. They were trying to show someone who purely knows that they are quote unquote loved from gifts, or in her thing, theme parks. Because as it flashes forward, which I'll just say it right now, I don't think she should have been the only other character to have her own little moment, because she has the Ferris wheel other spirit pop up. I'm like, why does Raina get a spirit? Why doesn't the other ones? Old fat boy, he should have got a spirit, because he was out here doing everything.
He was literally keeping everyone alive.
Yep. Like, he was positive.
Pulling them back, like, out the water.
Yep.
Like, he was putting in work.
So that pissed me off.
No backstory.
I was like, why does Raina get her own little person? But she tells the spirit, she's like, I loved yours the most. I have all my happy memories from here because my dad took me all the time. So she associates theme parks with actual love and affection from her parents. I had somebody very similar that I went to college with, that his parents never told him ever in words that they loved him, right? They would give him something or whatever. So, like, words of affirmation were huge for him, right? And he didn't get that when I grew up. I didn't do Christmas and all that stuff. I was like, no, my parents just got me stuff, whatever. He was like, really? Like, that was such a mind-blown thing to him, because he was like, no, that's how I knew my parents loved me, which is, like, crazy, right? Because I didn't grow up that way. So I know what they were trying to do. It just wasn't done well. Yeah. Because she was annoying. And then the resolution was just weird. Because, like, all of a sudden you have a Ferris wheel. Like,
that's about to collapse.
And it has a spirit. So all the other houses that we've run into
didn't
have spirits. But all of a sudden, this one does. And it's a badass spirit.
And saves everyone.
Yeah. She out here jumping, grabbing ropes. I'm like,
tying it
and
around.
Nopo's useless ass is just sitting here like, oh, I don't know anything. She's out here finessing.
Yeah, putting in work.
Right? Like, yeah. It would have been so much better if Nopo was her. I would have enjoyed the movie.
I literally said that in my head, and I'm like, this is kind of weird. He just read my mind.
Yeah.
But
and then,
she should have definitely replaced Nopo.
And then Nopo had his whole Super Saiyan arc when he was like, I don't want anybody to die, and he just, like, blows up and has, like, blue key around him. I'm like,
like, where was this?
Okay. You could have saved everybody originally, but no, you had to be useless and no personality. But
no personality.
At all.
Yeah. I didn't, So, I guess we're getting closer to the end. I did not understand they just magically just float into the sky, and then now they're back into the real world. Yeah. Why couldn't he do that earlier?
Because he didn't realize that until he got to the landmass. I'm telling you, Nopo is the most useless spirit there, because all the other spirits knew what they were doing.
And then, that was another thing.
Like the spirit was supposed to be helping, and he did not help at all.
No.
He had no idea.
He was selfish, like completely selfish. I think he was like...
He did say that. I think that was his thing.
He wanted Natsume and Kasuke to reconcile, but not help them reconcile. He kept saying to Kasuke, well, Natsume needs you. And then to Natsume, Katsuki needs you. Like,
That's it.
Yeah, and he was
you're
like, I want to
talking
see
to
them
13-year-olds.
smile.
Like, no.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that part.
Yeah, no, he was useless. So on that note, because there are a lot of unlikable people here.
Yeah.
So if you had to choose somebody
To kick
who
off
was
the building?
hey, relax.
I was about to say,
this
kill off.
this is not Survivor. Okay, good lord.
It was kind of like that. No.
Who was your favorite, and then who was your least favorite, and why?
Oh, gosh.
Who wants to go first?
Yikes.
Yikes. I can go my least favorite.
Okay, go ahead.
Least favorite was obviously Reina for me.
Mm-hmm.
Then the hard part, my favorite actually is not so hard anymore. Grandpa. My favorite. That's easy.
And the short little thing. Yo,
Mm-hmm.
yo, can we talk about one of the flashbacks was him just farting? And,
What?
and them like dying? That was literally one of the flashbacks. He's sitting there laying in bed, just lays one out. You just see this big dark cloud, and the kids are like, oh, and he's like,
Nah.
I was like, that's a, I was like,
that 1.5 speed,
Bruh.
skip that one.
yo, I was like, why is this a flashback? But anyway, yeah. Okay, so Grandpa, which is sad because he was in the movie for maybe 3 minutes.
Yeah, but just like the tropes, like the connection points to Grandpa, like I'm counting all that. The camera, Grandpa's camera coming into play. Both of their love and attachments towards the Grandpa actually giving him some game, like, look, that was a bad joke. You may need to go ahead and fix that. And then just their I guess because I love my grandpa. I don't know. It just made, it kind of stuck to me.
Okay.
I like Grandpa, though. It was cool.
Yeah, no, he wasn't a bad character. What about you, babe? Or you want me to go?
No, I'll go. I think probably my favorite character has to be, the other tall kid that was just keeping them all afloat.
Yuzuru.
Yuzuru.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's probably my favorite because
Tall, fat kid.
he was the only guy that was just making sense. The whole movie just made sense. My least favorite one, definitely Nopo, because he was just had no energy, no emotion, just super annoying, and it's just like, dude, just stop
He was
talking.
lying. Nopo was lying
Just
for
stop
so
talking.
long about
Yeah.
what he was.
Yeah,
who he
oh,
is.
I don't know what it is. Like, Kosuke asked him like 3 times, do you know what this is? No, I don't. And then he figures, okay, well, I actually do.
Right.
Okay, what else? Okay, so here's the full story. Like, all right.
I'm like, you wasted 30 minutes of this movie.
What about you?
So, my favorite, Yuzuru, right? Yuzuru was a G. If I don't know, without him, I probably would rate this lower. But Yuzuru was a G. Like, he was out here doing everything, like we said, right? Like, he was being like the rock for people.
Yes.
He actually took off his shoes.
Yeah, he was
was
respectful.
respectful.
He was respectful when they came into the old place. Again, he was the one. Like I think Jess said, like when they were in the makeshift boat or makeshift raft, he was pulling them in, and then they're like, "Oh, like pull us that way so we can." He's like, "All right, I got you."
Yeah,
like
he was putting in work.
yeah, like he was doing the most. There are a lot of unlockable characters. It was really hard for me to choose.
Yeah, I was going to say Taishi. Because I'm like, bro, why are you here?
Hey, at least Taishi was just there.
I think
Like,
he was supposed to be the comic relief.
He was supposed to be.
He was supposed to be the comic relief, but
Nothing
he
was
was
funny.
really, really the annoying
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Natsume. Hate her. Can't stand it. I
can see that.
With people
I can see why.
just with fake, I try to be as real as I can all the time, right? Like if you do not like me, I'm not going to change myself for you, right? CJ is CJ everywhere, all right? Now, granted, I'm not a complete dickhead. I was going to say I'm not a dickhead, but that is false. I will never. I always look to improve myself, right? Because again, like I said before, you think you've learned everything, you're an idiot. My dad's favorite saying is, if you think you've learned everything there is to learn, you haven't learned nearly enough, right? Mm-hmm. My favorite saying is, if you don't live on the edge, you're taking up too much space. Clearly, there's a maturity difference there.
I gotta sit on that one.
My dad is very scholastic. I am a moron. But because of my own,
I like that.
because of my own experiences with people who have threatened suicide and stuff, that really annoys me because I've experienced it for real. Granted, thankfully, nobody has ever gone through with it. But that annoys me because it's so selfish. So even though Reina was annoying, even though Kosuke was annoying because he, instead of just apologizing to her, he would act like an idiot. Her selfishness of, oh, I'm going to kill myself was really, really annoying to me. Yeah. So she is for sure my least favorite. This movie, last thing, also felt really long. It felt was way longer.
I think it was 2 hours.
Yeah, it was 2 hours. But here's the thing: I think Belle is 2 minutes longer than this. I swear, Belle felt 3 times shorter than this because this movie was so long.
I had it on 1.5.
I
got it done in like an hour.
It's the feeling though. Like I felt when like this was so long.
Yeah. When they got to the whole part of like they're finally going to build a raft and get off the house, I paused it. We had an hour left in the movie.
Yeah. I thought we were like left. At the end. I was like,
all right, we're good. No. Hour left. Yeah. What are they going to do for an hour?
Yeah.
It's not going to take them an hour. Right. Sure enough, it did.
Yeah. So okay. So now we can go into ratings. I will, as always, wrap it up. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go with a 7.
Okay.
The reason I'm going for it is because it did hit some ties that were not probably the main focus because I'm not their age. But I enjoyed that. The music hit for me. So that's always a plus. So that boosted up some points. And then the animation, it was pleasing to look at, even on a 1.5 sped up movie. So animation, pleasing to watch. Music hit, especially towards the end. Definitely contributed to the feels. And having them like actually resolve their situation, it felt good. So I'm gonna give it a 7.
Okay. Well, I'll give it. I'm teetering between a 5 and a 6 right now. But I think I'll give it a 6 because of the artwork was, it was very pleasing to look at. And the music was really good too. But it's going down because it was very long. A lot of very botchy plots, problems, not really solved, not really explained well. So a lot of questions I still have, but also if it's a movie that I watch and it leaves my memory, it's going to be down there. So, what about you?
All right, so I'm usually really drowned out with my reasonings. 3. This is a 3. Couldn't stand a lot of the characters. Only reason it is a 3 is because it was pretty to look at. Like the animation style was nice. But yeah, couldn't care less about the characters really, except for Yuzuru, and he wasn't even a main character. He didn't really need to even be there. I would not recommend this to anybody. I don't want to watch this again. I would actively dissuade people from watching this. I would log on to people's Netflix and block this movie. Like that, yeah. I am not a fan of this movie at all. But on to better things now. Hopefully.
Right. Yeah, hopefully.
I've heard good things. Our next episode will be on Call of the Night. This is a more recent anime. Came out this summer. I want to say July. And I've seen really good things on it. the different ratings that I've seen have all been at least 8, 9. I mean, granted,
That's good.
I take that with a grain of salt a lot of times because there's the movies and shows that have been really high rated that we did not like. But the animation style and stuff looks to be really interesting. So looking forward to that. It's 13 episodes. So yeah, if you guys want to watch it and listen with us, give your own ratings. You know the socials to hit us up. But until then, anybody have anything to wrap up with?
Nope, I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was 7, 6, 3. Onward to better things, call the night next week. But until then, I am CJ.
And this is Ace.
And this is Jess.
And we will feed your addiction next week.